Even though her lawyer told her to stop, LIEnette is sending messages to anyone and everyone who will speak with her. And we're about to debunk a whole lot more of her lies for court. The mole has come forward, even though there are many more moles, and lots of conversations have happened. Keep in mind, LIEnette told Judge DeThomasis that she's fearful, that she's imprisoned on her own property because of all the people communicating with her. And yet, she still posts and texts, please, anybody, everybody, talk to me. Just ask me questions, I'll answer them. And people did, and they do. And LIEnette even says, you're not gonna get me to tell you something that they can use against me in court. Not gonna work. Now, I know what you're thinking. Is she saying that she won't work for a living? She'll just keep grifting and begging, using the system, abusing the system. Well, yeah, I think there's a lot of truth to that for sure. But she's referring to this mole, stating that you're not going to get me to tell you something that then will go back to Jeremy Hales. Well, it is all back to Jeremy Hales. And this individual, the mole, goes on to say, hey, I'm only telling you what's going on. I'm giving you a heads up, okay? And then says, you know, I can only tell you what's happening with me and everything else. He's after me because of the email that he read. Now, what that's referring to is this individual sent an email. If you recall, in court, Judge DeThomasis, LIEnette sends character reference emails. It's the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen in court in my life. She literally says, these are people that support me, individuals that who've never met her before, ever in her life. I'm curious if John Crook would actually write a supportive email for her. Considering LIEnette does nothing to support Crook, I seriously doubt it. Crook probably throw her under the bus just like LIEnette continues to throw Crook under the bus. So this individual, this mole, did write something. That's how deep this mole is. Now, keep in mind that Judge DeThomasis threw everything, absolutely everything out. There was no evidence. There was nobody there to give testimony. There's nothing that supports any of the arguments that LIEnette has made whatsoever. So when she says it's not gonna work, I'm pretty sure she means LIEnette's not gonna work. And then the conversation goes on. I didn't say it was me because it wasn't. I don't know why you're accusing me of telling him everything. Nothing has been shared. Now, this is very, very true. As we see right here, that LIEnette has, in her paranoia, started to believe that everybody is sharing with me. And that's true, to the point of Don the Con is even on the phone with my lawyer, which then goes on to, here we go, another conversation, private investigator. So the mole goes on to tell LIEnette, I just got off the phone with a private investigator that Jeremy hired to spy on you guys. He said it will be here by the end of the month. Told me not to delete anything from my computers, my phone, whatever. I helped you. Now it's your turn to help me. And so this mole is literally telling LIEnette, listen, I've been there with you this entire time. It's time for you to now be there for me and help me through this process. I understand. You're wondering, has there ever been a private investigator? Marli Hughes has even come out and saying that there's a private investigator barked by our property all the time. There are other individuals, such as LIEnette, saying that she's being followed everywhere by a private investigator. Well, I think it's time that the truth finally come out. I have never hired a private investigator, ever, not once. Nobody was investigating Marli Hughes. Nobody has been following LIEnette or Crook. They are just complete and total ignorant fools filled with paranoia. And neither was a private investigator on the phone with this mole. This mole goes on to say, well, wait, I'm sorry. LIEnette goes on to say, Heather, they lied to you. On a private investigator cannot take your cell phone. Oh, all of a sudden, LIEnette got smart. A private investigator cannot take your cell phone. By the way, I have nothing to do with this conversation that this mole and LIEnette are having. I was just sent everything afterwards. They lied to you. A private investigator cannot take your cell phone. They can't tell you not to erase or get rid of whatever's on your own. Here we go again with the swear words. You see the stars? D star star star. Keeping in mind, LIEnette, who constantly, habitually, pathologically lies, says she doesn't use foul language or swear words. Keep in mind also, with all of these starred words, the child is there hearing everything. So LIEnette uses talk to text like this. Talk to text puts stars in all the foul language, and the child we have on video is repeating the words. We have on video her repeating the foul language. Video that's come from none other than Crook and LIEnette themselves. Further incriminating themselves. So here she is again, caught in another lie. Let's go ahead and debunking. Makes me feel so good. Swearing up a storm here. You're just not getting it. That's why I said call law enforcement. So now LIEnette's telling the mole to call law enforcement. Now, let's be honest. What's the Levy County Sheriff going to do? We already know LIEnette and Crook are guilty. Levy County Sheriff choose to do nothing. It is a choice. They choose to do nothing. Now, can they be held liable legally for that? Absolutely. But what's law enforcement going to do? All right, call law enforcement. Nobody can take your phone. Actually, yeah, they can. When it's evidence, your phone can be confiscated. Okay, and there isn't going to be a warrant after you. Don't you get it? Everything he does is a lie. It's for a show. And if I believed and I went through everything they said was going to happen to me, why am I not in jail? Well, we know that answer is because Levy County Sheriff is not doing what they're supposed to be doing. So then she goes on to say, again, send me the name. Send me the contact. I want the information of the private eye. We went from a private investigator to now it's a private eye. And my lawyer will contact them immediately. Do you really think Silver Scam would have actually contacted when LIEnette owes him so much money? Yeah, I don't think so either. I think he would have said, you got a bill to be paid, and I'm not doing anything until you pay the bill. That's just me, though. That's just me. Let's see what else they have to say. Holy cow, there's a ton in this one. There is a ton in these. Remember, one of the things that LIEnette started to do, oh my goodness, is she, out of her paranoia, started to delete every single message she sent. So you can see Michelle Sr. unsent a message. Michelle Sr. unsent a message. So she would send a message. Once it comes up as seen, she would immediately delete it so she would not incriminate herself. Now, let me ask you this. What's more incriminating? That the message is there, or that you sent the message and then deleted it, and now it's being subpoenaed, and now it's going to be in the court record? She would have been better just to leave the message, right? She literally incriminates herself even further by deleting what she has written. All right, so do we have it? We have some of them, not all of them, which is why it's being subpoenaed from Facebook. And you have to send a subpoena to Facebook to actually get those messages. Levy County Sheriff are a part of that. Levy County Sheriff have been subpoenaing LIEnette's account. Now, LIEnette's going to go on and go, well, Lieutenant Anderson knows that we're the ones in the right. You realize that when these individuals, these deputies, are in communication with them, they're going to play a role of bad cop, good cop. So they're going to play the role of, oh yeah, you're good. We believe you 100%, to try and trip them up into giving more detail and incriminating themselves. There's not a single person on the Levy County Sheriff Department that believes LIEnette, that wants to even be involved with LIEnette or Crook. And I know you understand that because you have a brain, whereas other individuals do not. Now, it's a nuisance for the Levy County Sheriff Department, no doubt. And the only relief that they're going to get from it is if they finally hold her accountable and she is imprisoned. That's the relief. That's when it stops, when there's true accountability, when something is actually done and there are consequences for what she has done. In probably one of the most genius responses, the mole says, "Do you think Amanda will help me?" Now, we all know who Amanda Martin is, right? Amanda Martin, the victim's advocate for Levy County Court, whose son, Rhett the Rat Johnson, assaults me at barbecues in Chiefland. Because of that, now there's a conflict of interest in the Levy County system, in the State Department, everything. I mean, there's just major conflict of interest. Because of all that, now everything is going to District 5, which is Ocala. You know, I'm still going to call it Ocala because that's the way it reads. That's the way it, hooked on phonics work for me, right? All right. So now everything goes into Ocala. And this is the craziest part. All of a sudden, LIEnette says, "Amanda who?" By the way, after delete, Amanda who? As if she doesn't know who Amanda Martin is and what Amanda Martin is being accused of and what Amanda Martin has done. Right? I mean, you know it. I know it. We all know Amanda Martin is guilty of quite a few things. As a matter of fact, there's a lot of things we have yet to actually share with you in regards to what Amanda Martin has done. And there's much more of that to come. But did LIEnette respond? Well, of course she did. And then she deleted. Yeah, right there. Dirty delete after dirty delete after dirty delete. So Amanda who? Well, the victim's advocate. And then LIEnette dirty deletes. And then LIEnette dirty deletes. And then the mole says, well, she's the victim's advocate for the county level, right? And then LIEnette, after she dirty deletes, says, did the private eye give you his name? Somebody's watching me. No, she's no longer a victim's advocate on this case. Oh, whoa. All right, you want this? Here we go. All right. No, she's no longer a victim's advocate on this case. Okay? And anything to do with, I don't say the name, my case, she's not involved anymore. I no longer have a victim's advocate. Now, let's be extremely clear. She never had a victim's advocate in the first place. To have a victim's advocate, you must have something against somebody, which she has never had anything or even close evidence against me because I've done nothing illegal. I've exercised my freedom of speech. That is it. I've never crossed the line into character defamation. I've never crossed the line into slander, libel, anything. Anything I've shared is truth. And I have all the information, all the text, all the screenshots to back it all up. It's truth. When you cross the line into character defamation is when you lie about somebody, and that's why they are in federal court for defamation, extortion, a list of torts, other things that they have done to me. All right. So now LIEnette says, no. Amanda is not my victim's advocate anymore. I don't have a victim's advocate. She never had one, ever. There was nothing. All right. The fact that Amanda even involved herself in this is because of the connection with Russ the Sus. There is an exact connection with Russ the Sus, Amanda Martin. And it goes deeper than that. And to the point where the state attorney has even... Yeah, I'm going to leave that one out. I spoke too soon. I'm going to leave that one out. But that we'll see. We'll see. We'll see if I even get to that. So LIEnette goes on to tell the mole, it's not real. It's not real. Okay, so the mole then says, okay, so I'm going to ignore that one. And then they sent and then see if I get a real subpoena. And LIEnette says, exactly. Now, I've got to stop texting while, and you can see she's driving. All right. She says, exactly. No, which means now. I've got to stop texting and driving. Talk to me later. Give me a call. Okay. So now this is LIEnette inviting people to talk to her and call her. Now we all know Russ the Sus don't do email. Russ the Sus don't do text. Russ the Sus don't put anything in writing. He will only call. Why? because it can't be used as evidence against him. And the entire county knows this about Russ the Sus. The state attorney knows this about Russ the Sus. Everybody knows this about Russ the Sus. So now LIEnette wants a phone call to limit the liability of incriminating herself. Except we also know that she won't leave the child with anybody, right? Okay. So she won't leave the child with anybody. So the child must, based on if LIEnette tells the truth, okay, and we know, we've debunked a lot of lies. If LIEnette tells the truth, the child is in this vehicle right now, and the child is hearing all of these cuss words, and the child is in danger as LIEnette is texting and driving, which is illegal in the state of Florida and many of the states for obvious reasons. It's a distraction. It's almost the same as driving when you are drunk, which LIEnette and Crook know a lot about because Crook does it quite a bit. And we have evidence of it. I don't just say this. We have proof of it from LIEnette's own mouth. Except now you got to sit there and go, can you even believe it if LIEnette says it? I know, it's a twisted circle, okay? But suffice to say, the child is in danger in LIEnette's care. The child is hearing all of this absolute insanity coming out of LIEnette's mouth, and the child's in this vehicle. None of this is okay to involve a child into hearing and to endanger while driving. And if you go, no, come on, I text and drive all the time, that's not an endangerment. Okay, why don't you ask some individuals who have almost been run off the road and hit by LIEnette? Yeah, there are those people. As a matter of fact, Madam Mayor Therese and her husband Brett were almost hit as LIEnette was swerving off the road towards them. Yeah, that happened, and we have the proof. The mole then asked LIEnette, is anybody else getting these letters and these phone calls? And then goes on to say, are you turning on me? Are you not my friend anymore? Are you throwing me away like you do John Crook and Jamster and Shart and anybody else, Marli Hughes? Something like that, you get it. Did you turn your back on me? Now, we all know LIEnette throws everybody under the bus and turns her back on everyone. And frankly, I think this is an important question to be asked by this individual because she's witnessed online LIEnette doing this to anyone and everyone that has tried to help her. LIEnette has thrown them under the bus completely and totally. And here we go again. An unsent message right there. The response is an unsent message. Now, some we have and some are being subpoenaed. And you can see the next one there. It says, can you please send me that letter again? It's a copy of the subpoena. And I have a lawyer that wants to look at it and make sure you don't have to do anything. Oh, wait, now hold a second. Yeah, right there. I have a lawyer that wants to look at it to make sure you don't have to do anything. Okay, so first of all, the lawyer is probably Shart, all right? I seriously doubt it's Silver Scam because she can't afford to pay Silver Scam to look at such silly and foolish things, right? Not that any of this is silly and foolish except what they've done to us, but she's not going to pay him, okay? And so she wants a copy of the letter again, the subpoena. Interestingly enough, didn't LIEnette already tell her that it's your phone? You can destroy it, delete it, stomp on it, drive over it, do whatever you want to it under the Constitution of the United States. And now she wants a lawyer to look at it and see if she has to do anything or not. Wait, now, this is LIEnette, certified firefighter, certified minister, certified pole dancer, certified lawyer, telling everybody, under the Constitution of the United States, you don't have to preserve evidence. We know that LIEnette already deletes evidence. I mean, we're literally looking at it right here. She's intentionally deleting messages. We've seen her do it under oath in her deposition. She's in pretty big trouble for that. Now, the consequences haven't fallen down on her yet for that. They will. There's no doubt they will. And then the mole says, just look back in your chat. Look back in your chat. I'm on my way home. So this information has already been sent. The subpoena has already been sent. And yeah, there was an actual subpoena. And so it's already been sent to LIEnette through the mole. And LIEnette wants another gander, wants another look, which is funny because LIEnette's the one, LIEnette's the one that said she didn't have to do anything. Let's see what else LIEnette has to say here. Oh, there's so much. And keep in mind, there's only so much I am going to share with you. Some will be, the majority will be reserved for court. So let's take another look here. As LIEnette is digging a deeper hole, as she's deleting, as she's telling others to stomp and delete their phone and their messages. And here we go. It's pulling up right now. It's pulling up. Come on. You got this, phone. You got this. All right, let's try again. And here we go. All right. So remember, LIEnette is saying, I got a lawyer that wants to look at it. Well, the mole wants to know, well, what happened to Silver Scam? Isn't he your lawyer? Come on. Isn't that your lawyer you gave it to yesterday? And she said, I never copied it yet, and I speak with him tomorrow. I'm talking to a federal attorney today. Right there. Well, we all know LIEnette is in federal court. Why? Because she can't stop her mouth from running. I mean, that's what it comes right down to, right? She literally cannot stop. Crook cannot stop. To the point where she is intentionally taunting, rolling her window down as she comes home, then pulls back out, intentionally puts her window down just to taunt. So LIEnette's speaking to a federal attorney, which to this point, she does not have a federal attorney. She can talk to as many federal attorneys as she wants. As a matter of fact, the one that's now being broadcasted as her representation, which isn't her legal representation yet because he has not been paid, has a horrible reputation. Now, he'll take a very, very low base payment, and he'll put you on a payment plan as well. But here's the thing. The lawyer's not going to put you on a payment plan if you can't make the payments. Now, LIEnette's telling the Levy County Sheriff she doesn't even know where her next meal is going to come from, let alone now she's able to afford a Jeep Gladiator, brand new. She's building this brand new, beautiful home that she thinks is better than everybody else and everybody in Otter Creek. So much better. So much. It's really good. It's going to be big. It's the best thing ever in Otter Creek. John and LIEnette are the best things ever. Trust me. Trust me. She doesn't lie. You know, that's the thing. She doesn't lie. Okay. She's a pathological liar. And then the mole says, oh, okay, because this is a whole new level. And then she says, so you have to start over again, basically. And she goes, I'm doing this on my own until I can find attorneys to help me. Okay. Now, this is the most interesting portion of all of this. She's doing it all on her own. First of all, in federal court, you're not allowed to represent yourself. It just is not going to happen. And you already know that she filed to get a free lawyer in federal court. The judge isn't going to let any of that happen. And here we go. Here's a copy of the actual subpoenas. I'm not going to bring those up. And she says, all right, I had to find it. LIEnette says, thank you. Why didn't LIEnette delete thank you? And then, like everything else that incriminated her, why didn't she delete the thank you? So LIEnette has to appear in federal court. John Crook has to appear in federal court. And here's the funny thing. There are lawyers that want nothing more than just for you to know their name. It's fame, right? Frankly, fame fades, all right? I am not interested in any fame whatsoever. I am interested in leaving a lasting impact on different people in my sphere of influence for positive and for good. Now, LIEnette and Crook do everything bad. That's not okay. You've seen it over and over and over again. Wrong way to leave a legacy. That's not a legacy. That's a dump. That's just a trash heap. And so they say they're going to do this all in federal court, all on their own. Okay. And then she goes on, did PI give you a name? Oh, sorry, all caps. At least there's punctuation from LIEnette, right? At least there's punctuation. And then the mole says, no, call back yet. My ringer's on. It's waiting by the phone. And then LIEnette says, I'm just asking if he gave you a name. That's all. If you didn't give you a name, he didn't give you a number, he's fake. Don't answer any of his questions. Don't. It's fake. Don't. Well, the subpoena was real. And there was never a private investigator. I never hired a private investigator. So all of these individuals that like to say that, oh, Jeremy has a private investigator following me. Sorry. Yet again, debunked. That's their own paranoia, their own ridiculousness. And why would they be paranoid if they didn't do anything wrong? And then the mole says, you're right, it might be. Okay, that is smart. Might be a scam call. The get-rich-quick people. And that's the funny part, the get-rich-quick people. Because these are some of the people coming out of the woodwork now saying that they legally are counsel or are just not legally, because they have no license to actually give or be legal counsel in the state of Florida or on the federal level. But they have all their own legal problems with Bar Association in Connecticut and in Michigan. One of them even calls himself a god. You think that dude's got some problems? Massive, especially if individuals find out who he really is and what he's really done to his clients. And then she goes on to say, I'm still wondering if I got April fooled today and not knowing it. Well, she wasn't April fooled. That's the mole. The mole is April fooling LIEnette and feeding all the information to my lawyer. I'm getting it from my lawyer. The mole is feeding it to my lawyer. My lawyer is feeding it to me. And then she goes on to say, okay, well, I forgot today was April 1st, which is significant because that is the founding day for Tubetown, baby. Tubetown. Yeah. April 1st, founded April 1st, population 1, Tubetown. You know, where LIEnette lied in court. She got debunked. Said I had no driveway, no access, no homes were ever built there. Even though in her court document and paperwork, she said, oh, I know Jeremy is going to build bed and breakfasts there. Therefore, prices and land is going to go up in Otter Creek and Levy County. And therefore, I knew I had to buy this overpriced piece of property. By the way, she paid way, way, way overpriced, insanely overpriced on a piece of property that's a complete and total dump because she wanted to try and make money off of me. If you think LIEnette is dumb, Marla is right up there with her. And honestly, probably even dumber. Like, LIEnette's been able to scam the system and scam Marla. You got to have a little bit of intelligence to scam a system and to scam other people. And Marla has, yet again, shown herself so foolish. Here we go. Proving incrimination. Marla Hughes says in the chat, by the way, this was all sent by the mole to my lawyer, says to Shauna Lewis McLeod, Marla says this, try to keep up, dear. I wrote a letter to each judge identifying myself as the person who posted the public Zillow photos of the ranch property when somebody asked, since JH's spies sent him a screenshot from a private group. Let's just stop right there. Okay, so first of all, I don't have any spies. I've never approached anybody to send me anything. There's never been a spy, ever. The moles have come out of the holes themselves. They've come to me and said, hey, we want to give you this. Hey, we want to give you this. Hey, we want to work with you on this. Everybody has approached me. And frankly, why do you even need a mole when somebody as dumb as Marla literally says, I personally contacted the judges and told them it was me, meaning her. How stupid can you be? What's that statistic? Like 95% of arrests are because the individual tells on themselves. You've got a right to remain silent. Just so few people do it, right? And here's Marla literally incriminating herself. Yes, she's going to be deposed for the federal case, and then action from that deposition will be taken against her. There's no way any of these individuals, whether it be Lizzie Bailey, whether it be Marla Hughes, whether it be Paul, whether they're not out of the woods. Just because justice takes so long doesn't mean they're getting off scot-free. None of them are. None of them. All right, so she goes on to say, I identified myself as the person who posted the public Zillow photos of the ranch property when somebody asked. Since JH's spy sent him a screenshot from a private group. Well, let's get something extremely clear. There is no such thing as privacy when it's online. It's there forever. Anyone can get access to it, period. End of story. JH knew I was the one who commented because my name was and still is besides the comment, not MP's. She's trying to say Michelle Preston. Preston isn't even her legal last name. She did the same thing as she did with Lacey and Alexis. She named herself this, and then she took her former husband's last name again, and it's not even legal. Her legal first name is LIEnette. Nobody knows what her legal last name is right now, but we all know it's not Preston. So it was Cook after the divorce. I would say it's probably still Cook. Or Crook. Sounds even better, right? All right, JH knew I was the one who commented because my name is and still is besides the comment, not MP's. Michelle Preston was pleading the fifth. Remember, she pleads the fifth, which you cannot do. And by the way, anybody who says, oh, yes, you can. No, you can't. You don't get your cake and eat it too. You're not a petitioner in the courtroom and then go, I won't speak. You either have a case and you speak, or you don't have a case at all. So her case should be immediately dropped. Judge DeThomas did the illegal thing, the wrong thing, instead of immediately dismissing this. She cannot plead the fifth. Obviously she did. It has legal ramifications to it. So Marla goes on to say that she was pleading the fifth during a grueling 7-hour interrogation. Honestly, there was nothing grueling about it. Most of the time, everybody was laughing because it was downright hilarious. Some of the most insane things I've ever seen come out of an insane person's mouth. Grueling 7-hour interrogation to protect her friends who support her. You know, LIEnette is the one that has posted that God didn't create her to have friends. And let's face it, Marla to this day has still never met LIEnette in person, ever. First of all, Marla can't even get out the front door. But secondary, you actually think Marla is going to show up at the Turd Sanctuary? Why, if these people are such great friends, why are none of them volunteering at Turd Purgatory? Why aren't they just funneling their money into Turd Purgatory? Oh, would it be because they actually know LIEnette is a pathological habitual liar? They actually know they would never see anything for the benefit of their money? They actually know LIEnette only created this to scam the system? They know. The aspect is, Marla is just a horrific, horrible, miserable individual. All she wants to do is hate. So she's got to find something to hate. And if I'm that person, great. I got thick skin and broad shoulders. Marla means very little to me except to laugh. She's humor to me. She's comedy. And so if she needs something to hate, have at it. Hate all you want. I'm still going to laugh at you. And so she goes on to say, 7-hour interrogation to protect her friends who support her. Oh, those same individuals that LIEnette keeps throwing under the bus? All right. We don't need protection, but we appreciate her efforts. The N-word message was made up. So no one called Martha a San N-word other than whoever created the message. Notice JH never shows the actual message, just a screenshot of it. Odd. Right there you can see she says odd. Odd that all the authorities have that message. Odd that that message will be used in court. Odd that there's a ton of evidence. There's even messages in here. There's messages from Marla that she then tried to delete in private chats, which aren't private, that we have, that will all be used in court, that we haven't shared yet. Oh, odd, when you play poker, you don't show all your cards. Odd. But Marla's never been a winner. She's a complete total loser. So odd. You think somebody would learn. And she goes on and on and on. Okay, let's see what else is being said here. We've got all kinds of screenshots. I got another one pulling up right now. Oh, what do you know? It's more Marli Huge. And what she's doing now is... Oh, wait. Oh, somebody's saying, Marla Hughes, you would be best served by being quiet. You're already in heaps of legal trouble, and I doubt you have the funds to fight it. You mean JD isn't going to pony up all the money to protect old Marli Huge right there? You don't think JD's going to come up with that money? Come on! This is Sugar Mama, Marli Huge. The Mole wants to know, did Marla see the video by JH tonight? She's in it. And then LIEnette goes on to say, I haven't spoken to her in a while. Are these best buds on bad terms right now? Interesting. It seems like they're always on bad terms. You know, there are those individuals out there, haters, that go, oh, JH has problems with this person and this person and this. No, JH has problems with liars, with thieves, and when you have money, those individuals come out of the woodwork to get it, such as LIEnette and Crook. Okay? Period. End of story. Now, there are thousands and thousands of people I have no problems with. Christian, Patience, the list could go on and on. Willis, Belinda, Doug. I mean, should we go through all of Otter Creek? Ellie, Scott, Deborah, Doc, Rex. I mean, we could keep going on and on. The things I have to show for accountability's sake are the things that you see. While I wish I could show all the fun things all the time, I mean, the reality is my life is actually kind of boring. And I do love hanging out with a lot of good people, but the reality is life is kind of boring. And so LIEnette goes on to say, I've not spoken to her in a while. And then the Mole says, please don't. She's digging her own hole with him. Well, we all know that she's big enough to fill that hole as well. Don't tell me anything about your court cases. Keep that tight, trustworthy group of just people involved. Maybe know them, but I'm just trying to help you. It's getting out there. It's very true. Marli has posted quite a bit, and it's not good for LIEnette. All right, LIEnette goes on to say, I have no clue what you're talking about. And then the Mole goes on to say, they're talking about everyone's post. Like if Chris or Paul say anything, they may think you're asking them to post for you. That's why I said be careful. No, that's reality. She has been having Marla be her mouthpiece and post for her. That's third-party contact, which will be addressed in the Florida courts as well. And so the insanity of having somebody post for you and thinking that's not direct contact is crazy. And she goes on to say too much was getting out. Too much was getting out. All right. And then LIEnette says, I haven't talked about it at all, and I won't. And then she goes on to talk about it. She goes on to say, there's nothing getting out from my side because no one is doing anything. Again, you're believing everything you hear and you read. Doesn't make it true. Well, that's pretty funny because LIEnette is posting things that are being said about me, which are defamation, illegal, because it's not true. Isn't it interesting? Isn't it interesting? Somebody says something negative about somebody and you immediately believe it's true. Oh, why are they saying it? Well, to protect their own hide. All right. Now, I say something negative about somebody and I show you the actual proof. I show you exactly what has been said, how it's been said. I show you the timeline, the screenshots, the whole deal. It's all there. That's the difference. When I share it and I say it, I have the proof to back it up. But for somebody to believe somebody else saying something defamatory about somebody, which is a blatant lie, such as Jeremy Hales, the Ohio rapist that LIEnette put on all of her signs, and then for somebody else to come out and try and jump on that bandwagon with LIEnette and say, oh, well, Jeremy is a defamation, court. If it were true, there'd be no court. If it weren't true, there's absolutely going to be court, because these individuals are trying to character assassinate to save their own skin, to deflect so that you don't see who they really are and what they've really done. So isn't it funny that LIEnette says, you're believing everything you hear and you read? Okay. So are people supposed to just believe LIEnette because she said it and they read it? Who in their right mind would ever believe anything LIEnette has said? Or anything they read from LIEnette? Come on. There's this thing called integrity. Okay, patterns are what make us who we are and our personality, and it forms integrity. If you screw up once, it's not a pattern of your life. I always told my students when I was master's level professor that you can always predict the future with people. People act based on patterns. If LIEnette is a grifter and LIEnette lies, what is she going to continue to do? She's going to continue to lie. She's going to continue to grift. She's going to continue to try and abuse the system, right? That's the pattern. If she does one good thing amidst 100 bad things, what's the pattern? The bad. Okay, so if you have a good person who does 100 good things and then somebody says one bad thing about them, or let's just say they do one bad thing, what's the pattern? The pattern is goodness. All right, you can predict the future based on people's patterns. Who in their right mind is going to believe anything LIEnette says? Who in their right mind would believe anything some ridiculous child who's high 99.99% of the time trying to cover his own backside ever says? That's insanity. Consider the source. Always consider the source. Always. And she goes, just because somebody said it or Jeremy said it doesn't make it true. Oh, does that make it true when LIEnette says it? Crook says it? Please share with me something else that's been let out, because I have no clue what you are talking about. All right. And then the mole says, well, I'm keeping my eye out for that kind of stuff. And then LIEnette says, they're grown people I've never met. I'm not having anyone do anything at all that would jeopardize my child, my life, my freedom. Plus, that's not who I am at all. Well, her children and family have a lot to say different in regards to that. Quite a bit. As a matter of fact, there's entire channels based on all of the insanity. That she is a pathological liar. And do I think she has Munchausen disease? By proxy? Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, can I prove it? Well, even though I spent a tremendous amount of my professional career in the mental health community, working with both children and adults, it's not my place at this point in time to be able to prove such things. Now, I definitely see signs. I know you see the signs as well.